to get a British person to open up. Share a beer.
Crisps. 씻기.
식기,
세척기.
세탁기.
Hello guys, welcome to Uni's Life. Today we have two special guests, Alice and Neil, joining us today. Alice, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi, I'm Alice. I live in Hertfordshire, which is near London, and I've been teaching English for about 2 years now.
How about you, Neil?
Hi, my name is Neil. I'm from London and I've been teaching for about 3 years.
We're gonna talk about British culture and British English today. When it comes to British culture, the first thing comes to mind is British food for me. As you all know, British food have a really international reputation for being bland. Are there any lesser known British food that you think Koreans might enjoy? Who should I start first?
Indian curry. That's about the favourite food of English people.
Wait, what kind of Indian curry though?
It varies. You have very mild to very, very strong. You know, tikka masala, I suppose that is the stereotypical one.
That's the national cuisine, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. But would you have it with rice or any bread or?
Rice and naan bread.
How about you, Alice?
Yeah, I would have to say, in terms of British food, people here don't actually eat that much British food. Yeah, generally speaking, we have such a variety of different foods, like tikka masala, curries, stir fries. The only British thing I probably eat is a Sunday roast.
A Sunday roast?
Yes.
Oh, can you only eat Sunday roast on Sunday?
Yes. Very important. No, of course, you can eat it on other days, but traditionally on a Sunday or Christmas Day are the two times to eat it, because it's kind of a special filling meal, normally with friends or family or at a pub, kind of a nice way to end a week. So normally you have I think it varies. I don't eat meat actually, I'm a vegetarian.
Okay.
But for meat eaters, I think they normally have chicken or beef, and then all the sides of the vegetables, Yorkshire puddings, potatoes.
Roast potatoes.
Yeah, I almost forgot.
That's the most important. Roast potatoes and gravy. Gravy is the English thing. Gravy is it's like a sauce with a slightly meaty flavour with meat stock normally. And yeah, it's delicious. It's very English.
Where do you put the gravy sauce on?
On everything.
Everything, every British cuisine.
Oh yeah, mainly the roast, but
the roast.
with the plate of the roast, I think some people like to spread it all over. It kind of varies, doesn't it? Some people just put it on the potatoes. I don't like that much gravy, but I think that's a controversial thing. Some people love gravy.
So Korean people should try those.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah, okay, cool. Wait, but speaking of having meal with your friends and family, as far as I know, British people are often described as very shy and reserved. Let's say I'm an international student in the UK. How can I make British friends?
I actually think maybe compared to cultures like Americans can be seen as a bit louder, or some Mediterranean Italian, Spanish can be quite loud. Maybe we see more on the surface, but I actually think it doesn't take that long to get a British person to open up, and because we're so used to having international people here as well, I think it's very easy to make friends here because it's just everyone mixes together. So I think it's quite nice.
But how can you open up basically? What's
Get
the...
them to open up.
Yeah.
Share a beer or a drink. Go to the pub.
Go to the pub. Go
Yeah.
to the pub.
Yeah.
Nice. What would you do at the pub? Just talking or?
Once you get English people drunk, they will just talk forever.
About what?
Anything. Rubbish.
Okay.
Absolute rubbish mostly. There is the stereotype of talking about the weather is always a good way of opening people up. Especially older people. If you're going to go trying to make friends with someone who's a bit more middle-aged or older, then talking about the weather is the good start.
Complaining about weather, isn't it?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah.
Mainly, yeah.
Because the weather here is rubbish, so it's mainly a complaint.
or just complaining about anything, basically. Yeah, that's the other thing.
Pro tip, go to the pub and complain about weather and everything.
Yeah, mix them together. That's a perfect combination.
How expensive everything is, these sort of things.
Oh yeah, I mean the cost of living, oh my god, it's crazy, isn't it?
Especially in London. I think you notice it more, I live a bit outside of London, and I notice it a lot more coming in to London, and just simple things like coffee, it's like £1 more here. And naturally, because London is so much to do, I think you just step outside and you spend money without even thinking. You just breathe and you spend money.
So next up, let's talk about British English. So nowadays we have so many Korean students who want to learn British English. That's one of the reasons why we have this wonderful one-on-one British English tutoring platform called BritishTalk, which only consists of British tutors. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the question for you, Alice, you've been teaching Korean students for 1 year. Are there any common English mistakes that Koreans make?
One that I've noticed quite a lot is the pronunciation of walk and work. People struggle with a little bit, and it's a hard one to teach because they are similar, but obviously very different meanings.
About that, so L and R is same in Korean. I think that's why we cannot really distinguish.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I walk to work.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Well done.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think a lot of Korean students maybe learn American English, so they pronounce their R's a lot more than we do in the UK. Like you said, work, just there, you could hear the R, whereas we wouldn't really pronounce the R as much. So I noticed that a lot of like really heavy R sounds. Not that it's wrong, but it's just more American style. The crisps.
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 The moment of truth. Okay. Creeps.
Yes.
Slow it down is always the rule.
Slow it down. Creeps. Fuck.
But you know, it's like Spanish. I can't do a rolling R.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
And not pronouncing crisps, at least when people hear it, they know what you mean.
Exactly.
And it puts a smile on people's faces. We have tongue twisters.
Tongue twisters.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Who can do that? I'm not good.
You brought that up. So you should
do it now.
Yeah, you have to do it now.
She sells seashells on the seashore.
She, like a lady,
Yeah.
she sells seashell on the seashore.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You know what? We also have Korean tongue twister.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to try?
Oh gosh.
Ladies first.
Okay, let me go with easy one.
Yeah,
간장 공장 공장장.
that's easy.
간장
Kanjang,
공장
Kungjang,
공장장.
Kunjangjang,
Okay, could you do it again?
Kungjang, Kungjong. I can't remember.
Neil.
Oh no.
간장
Kanjon,
공장
Kunjon,
공장장.
Kunjanjan.
Sam, what's the difficult Korean word? Dishwasher. Okay, dishwasher. 식기, 세척기.
Can you say it again?
식기, 세척기.
Shiki.
Neil, dishwasher. 식기,
Siki,
세척기.
Setoki,
세척기.
Setoki.
Why is it such a long word for dishwasher?
I know.
Yeah, I can understand why Korean students find it really hard to learn English.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the purpose.
I think actually you need to make those mistakes to learn, because if you just keep not speaking out and not practicing and making those mistakes, you're gonna keep doing them, and your teacher is not gonna be angry at you for making a mistake. We like it because we feel like we're actually teaching you. Make that mistake and then I can tell you how to change that.
So you've been working here for 1 year. Is there any interesting facts about Korea that you learned while teaching them?
I would say culturally, I never knew about the whole thing about age being quite important.
Yeah.
I never knew that. And actually, I think you have more respectful language for older people, and it's very important that you know the age of someone when you're talking to them. And I never knew that actually, because we don't have that at all.
Yeah, I mean, for example, let's say we met first time today, right? I would ask your age after the name, because I think we have our own like titles that you have to call someone who is older than you.
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I think as well, we don't really ask ages here in general. Like, it doesn't really come up in conversation at all. You could be with a group of people that you've just met for ages and not know their ages. So yeah.
That's really interesting for me, actually. Let's say you're older than me, I would call you Alice 언니. Yeah, and if you're younger than me, I would just call you Alice. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we don't really use sir or madam except like at school and if you're in a shop and you're serving someone.
Yeah, but sir and ma'am is like, it's not about age though, isn't it?
It's respectful, yeah. It's about respect rather than age.
Yeah, not necessarily about age, I suppose. It's more respect. The other thing as well, I think like in schools here, we're very strict about like children have to call their teachers by their surname. So you don't know their first name at all. Whereas I don't know if you have that in Korea. I don't think you do.
We call first name and then we say teacher at the end. I would call you Neil teacher,
Yeah.
Alice teacher. Wait, so you
It's
never
nice.
know your teacher's first name?
No.
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 So the only way people will find out is by like searching on Facebook sometimes, which I'm not supposed to do. But I found my teacher.
Classic. That's international.
Yeah.
But I think that's good. I mean, it's good to keep up a certain level of formality. But you don't, a teacher is supposed to be, there's supposed to be a distance for lots of different reasons.
Yeah, it's not the same in every country because I went to Spain and I was a teaching assistant there. They were calling their teachers by their first names, and even the teachers were like hugging the children, and it was very close. It was really interesting to me because I think in the UK we do have this sort of difference.
Okay, Neil, you've recently started working at BritishTalk, right? How has your experience been so far?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, the thing about South Koreans is they're very polite. So they've got very good manners. Yeah, it's a joy to teach South Koreans.
But speaking of polite, sometimes we're too polite to speak up,
I will regularly ask if they have any questions. You have to sort of like encourage them, is there any questions, is there anything you don't understand? As long as you ask them, they normally, once you nudge them, they're normally fine.
For Korean students, if they want to improve their English faster, what should they do?
I would say do something every day. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. As long as you're doing something for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it's going to be easier to learn.
That's a good point about 5 minutes every day because it's not too unmanageable. Like if you say to yourself, I'm going to do an hour every day, it's a lot for a lot of people if you're working, you're busy, but it also keeps it fresh in your mind as well. If you go a week and you don't have any speaking practice and you're not in the country, you forget a lot of things. Sometimes students miss a week for whatever reason, they come back, it's like rusty, and that's fine, but just keeping it fresh a little bit will help your brain remember, I think.
Prepare before the class and do a little bit after the class. The students that do the best in my class are the ones that have gone through the lesson beforehand and they do the homework. If you want to get better, that's important.
But also I would say, when you've made those mistakes in class and the teacher has corrected them and emailed you about them, just taking the time to read over them. Like Neil said, kind of taking a bit of time after the class and just reviewing it, because otherwise you're going to leave that class and it's just going to go out the window.
And you're gonna forget everything. Yeah. I think that's it. That's all the question that I got for you. So thank you for today. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I hope you guys have fun
Yeah,
today.
it was really fun.
Yeah, it was
Was it
great. Yeah.
All good? Yeah.
See you later.
See you.